is fuel and an essential building block for life. That's why knowing where your meals are coming from can be a very powerful and life-changing experience. An experience that recently richened the semester for students in Kimberly Curtis's college class. The NAU freshman students spent several days at the Mexican border in Yuma, Arizona to learn about where produce comes from and the working conditions that field workers face. We spoke with Professor Kimberly Curtis and her students to gain some insight on their trip. Thalia Schneid has more.
Grocery stores nationwide are always stocked year-round with fresh produce, even in the winter months. NAU freshman students find out firsthand how this is possible and how a huge immigrant workforce from Mexico keeps the fresh produce aisle full of greens.
There are 45,000 workers who raise those crops and harvest those crops from November to March, and that's 90% of the nation's winter greens come out of the Yuma field. So students have this tremendous opportunity to sort of see what it takes for an industrial farmer, and we study a lot about the problems with industrial farming.
This freshman first-year seminar is having a considerable impact on students' perceptions of the conditions these workers endure during harvest season.
So I think it's something that should be known. I don't think many of us understand when we go to the supermarket and buy lettuce that we understand where it really came from. The image in our heads is machines picking up these things, sending them in boxes, but in reality it's somebody sweating off of hours of work, cutting and cleaning it and putting it there. So I think it should be more known, I guess.
It makes me feel a lot more privileged. Makes me understand what I've taken for granted thus far. I'll never be able to look at a bag of lettuce the same way, or a tomato, or a piece of corn of all things.
This trip is an experience for students that is eye-opening to the very harsh realities that exist for the workforce of the agricultural industry.
And many of those workers, of course, don't have proper documents, which means that if there's sexual harassment in the field, if pay is withheld for some reason, it's very dangerous for them to complain. So they're a very, very vulnerable workforce, and it's really fantastic for students, for all Americans who eat, as everybody does, to get to understand just what the system looks like and then to begin to ask, how can we make it better?
Thalia Schneid, NAZ Today.